This is Unit 4, Section 3, Lesson 15, Holy Moly Preparing Solutions. So today we're going to talk about how to prepare solutions, which is probably one of the most useful things you will learn, especially if you want to become a lab technician, a nurse, a doctor, basically anything related to the medical field and make lots of money or do it for the passion and the love, as you always should. Anyways, how to prepare solutions. So let's say you work as a lab tech and you need to make 0.15 molarity of solution of NaCl, which is true for a lot of people who are dehydrated. You'll make a solution like this for them. So how do you prepare the solution? So first thing you need to do is recall that the equation for molarity, so if I have 0.15 molarity, it's the same as having a certain moles over liters. So if I call this 1 liter, I would have 0.15 moles. So let's say I'm going to make a 1 liter solution of this, just to keep it simple. So I also need to know that moles is a number, right? It's 602 hexillion of something. So if I take 602 hexillion times 0.5, that would be 0.5 moles. It's kind of ridiculous if I had to count out 0.15 times 602 hexillion of NaCl. So an easier way to figure out how many grams this number is. So let's do that. So step 1, I know my equation. Step 2 is to figure out how many grams 0.15 moles is. Right, so I'm looking for grams and I'm given moles. That's a G. So in order to figure that, I need my moles to cancel out and to find grams. Grams over moles. Hey, that looks like a familiar unit. It's actually the molar mass, right? So I need to find the molar mass of NaCl. If I look on my periodic table and look for the mass of Na, add it to the mass of Cl or chlorine, I should get the molar mass of NaCl, which should be 58 grams divided by moles. So 58 grams over 1 mole, multiply these two numbers, and I should get a really, really tiny number, 0.0026 grams. So instead of counting however much this many molecules of NaCl would be, I can just weigh out this amount. So in order to prepare the solution, the first thing I need to do is to weigh out 0.0026 grams of NaCl. And remember, this is going to go in a 1 liter beaker. So this much NaCl will go inside a beaker that can fit up to about 1 liter. So here's my NaCl, whatever amount it is. And then I'm going to add water. Add water up to 1 liter. So there's going to be a little bit of NaCl in here already. So you're not going to measure 1 liter of water. You're just going to add water until it hits the 1 liter mark, right? So the rest of this is just water. So when you're answering questions like these, how do you prepare the solution? It's all of step 3. So you have to tell the person you're going to weigh out 0.0026 grams of NaCl, and then you're going to add water up to 1 liter. And if you do that, you should get the concentration 0.15 molarity, which is what you want at the end. So let's try a different example. This one you can work on your own, so just pause the video, and then I'll go over the problem fairly quickly after this because we already went through it in the first example. So example number 1 asks, how would you make a 0.50 molarity solution of NaCl? Right, so same kind of deal where I have 0.50 molarity, which means I have 0.50 moles in 1 liter. So what I can do is figure out how many moles of NaCl, how many grams of NaCl I have in 0.5 moles. So let's do 0.50 moles multiply by 58 grams because this is our molar mass. Moles cancels out. I'm left with just grams. I should get 29 grams. So my answer would be to weigh out 29 grams of NaCl and add up to 1 liter of water. And that's how I would make that solution. And that should not be there. Water. That's the final answer. So example number 2, slightly different. Let's say you don't want to make 1 liter of water. You want to make 500 milliliters of a solution of NaCl that has a molarity of 0.50. How do you do that? Well, 2 ways you can set it up. So remember that's 0.50 molarity is as such, and 500 milliliters. You have to figure out how many moles you're going to need first, and then you can figure out how many grams you need first. So this time you're solving for moles first. If you want a specific amount that's not 1 liter. You also need to remember that this is in milliliters, not in liters. It has to be in liters. So I need to convert 500 milliliters to liters. So move it 1, 2, 3 decimal places to the left. That should give me 0.5 liters. And then I can move on. So let's make that prettier. 0.50 molarity equals moles over 5 liters. Right? So if I want to solve for how many moles I have, I just multiply both sides by 0.5. 0.5, that's a multiplication sign. So I'm just left with moles, because this cancels out. 0.5 times 0.5 is just 0.25 moles, which is how many moles I need. Now that I know how many moles I need, I can figure out how many grams of NaCl I need to weigh out. All right, so here, 2.5 moles, getting rid of moles, grams, looking for grams. 58 is the molar mass of NaCl. I multiply these two, I should get 14.5 grams. So my final answer would be to weigh out 14.5 grams and then add up to